I'm Fick. I'm an Extension Rangeland Management Specialist at Kansas State University in Manhattan, Kansas. And as part of this Grazing beef cap project, I'm on the outreach team doing the extension work. Most of that really involves trying to communicate best management practices that we have to the producers. My particular areas of expertise in that range have to do with brush and weed control. I do talk about grazing systems as well as prescribed burning practices. Right at this point in time, as we're meeting here, brush and weed control comes to mind. Usually early summer is a typical time we think about those sort of things, particularly the woody plants. And that includes things like, let's say, Osage orange, or a lot of people call that hedge, common honey locust. Those are trees that are problems kind of through the central and southern Great Plains. And there are some herbicides that we typically use for those control of those species. One of our more common products, I'll use a trade name, is called Remedy. And there are others, but that's one that is widely used, and the timing here during, say, the month of June is usually pretty good. Another invasive species that we tend to deal with in both Kansas and Oklahoma in particular would be Ceresia Lespedeza. And like many of our problem species, it was introduced, kind of as a forage crop, but it's quite invasive once it gets out on our native rangeland, and it's high in tannins, and cattle in particular don't like to consume it. They don't really get a bellyache necessarily, but there's a negative feedback that occurs when they eat Ceresia. So usually we have to rely on either other grazing animals such as sheep and goats, or use of herbicides. And probably the best approach, no one method is probably going to be completely effective. What we need is to use an integrated approach, where if we can get a grazing animal to graze on something like Ceresia, and then we maybe follow that up with a herbicide application once the plant has been weakened.